Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla coming back to ya with another episode of Car Rides with Schla. I guess part of the reason why... that's interesting, because if you think about trying to be positive and you think of rationalizations, I think there is an inherent bias of the human nature to rationalize things to be, oh, well, it's okay because it's difficult. So, for example, what I was about to say is, oh, well, I think one of the reasons why I can't always do super well with the show is because oh my gosh, yeah, I can't believe anyways, one of the reasons why I can't do super well with the show always is because I kind of like doing that with certain words, like, because you would usually say because, but I feel like because it just makes it sound better. I don't know how else to explain that. Because... So I think I do that intentionally, and I think it's just a sonic thing. I had a repeat of a dream I had previously last night, and I don't remember a lot of the details, but it was longer than the last time I had it. And I just guess I'm curious. I'm very curious. We were graduating high school, and I know I had this dream before, but it was much less detailed. We were graduating high school, and everybody had a paper at their... Like, we were basically sitting in this huge cafeteria. Everybody in the whole grade. It was a lot of people. And in everybody's space, there was a piece of paper that had some kind of label. Not like a physical label that you would put on something, just a linguistic label, like a archetype almost for people. Everybody had an archetype that was attributed to them written on this paper, and it was stylized a certain way. For each of us had our own, I guess, font or color. And I don't remember a lot of other people's, and I don't even remember mine completely, but it was something to do with sonic, like, sonic waves. That's kind of what sonic something or other, not Sonic like the Hedgehog, like what actual sonic waves are. It was something about sonic. I don't remember, though. It was there, because then outside, when we were just hanging out in the graduation, I was looking over... We were in a field, and I was looking over the hill we were on, because we were kind of... We were near roads with cars. So it was a field, but we weren't out in the middle of nowhere. There were streets, traffic around, so we could see what was going on. And over the edge of the thing, it just, this guy like was coming out of nowhere on a dirt bike, but it had rockets on it, and he was like flying through the air but falling on this dirt bike with rockets. I just you can't make this stuff up. And then I thought it was going to happen, and it did. He was falling, and he smashed into a car. And then there was like sparks and explosion, and a bunch of fire debris flew all over the place and up onto the field we were on. And I started running preemptively. I told people, like, I think we should get out of here. But people were a lot slower to react than I was. And then somehow there was just tons of debris, which is kind of strange. Because that's not what would happen. Like, I think even if there was an explosion, you wouldn't have debris raining down on a field. So it was an interesting dream, and it was because I had that dream before where there was a graduation where there was a graduation and people we each had our own like name thingies, name tag, special archetype thingies. So it's interesting when that happens, when you have a repeat of a dream that nobody else has. This is just some weird thing I dreamed about. It's not like but it's interesting. I think what I was about to say, because that completely interrupted me, because I had remembered I wanted to mention that, and I didn't want to forget about it, was that people, they want to justify mediocrity. So when I'm thinking of how it's been tough occasionally with the show, keeping up with it, I'm thinking for a justification. So I'm saying, well, it's kind of tricky because I work 12-hour shifts, so each episode takes place in the beginning of 12 hours and at the end of 12 hours. And I don't really have that much time to process because I'm either working work for 12 hours, which admittedly is actually more time for me to process. I usually feel better equipped for the PM car ride with Schla as opposed to the AM. But either way, it's a back-to-back, like right at the midpoint of the 24-hour day. And when I get home, I'm not really awake for very long before going to sleep. I mean, it's not even 2 hours that I never hit, like, I never come home from work and have a full 2 hours. So think about that. Like, think about every day after work, you only having never 2 hours of free time. Like, it's always less than two, you know, always less than two. So that's not really a ton of time, especially because, you know, I usually use that time to chill. Like, I'm not doing anything really. It's just time to just, yeah, like, I'm not trying to be crazy or anything like that. And so then it's only those 2 short hours, and then not even 2 not even short hours, and then I wake up and I don't have that much time in the morning. Luckily, my routine is very efficient. I've obviously put a ton of effort into maintaining a very efficient routine. So I don't have to spend, like, my morning routine is very easy. I don't have to do a lot of things I think other people have to do because I have all my meat is cooked. Just take it out, put it in the microwave, and that's it. A lot of other people would be dissatisfied with the repetitive eating that I engage in, so they would either have to meal plan in a more complicated fashion, or they would have to figure out what they want to eat. You have those options, but either way, those take time. Like, for me, there's no choice about eating. I know what yeah, of course, lots of people, I mean, they even might go out to eat. People do all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, just all kinds of crazy stuff. Have to stop by Dunkin' Donuts to get something special. Have to stop by this place or that place to get something special, something different. They're not able to organize themselves in the way that I have. So my morning routine is very efficient. I actually need less time than most people need to prepare and get ready. I mean, I don't really have to do anything in the morning. It's just put my food in the mic, heat it up. And I like that because it's very zen, and it's very good because I get to enjoy my favorite part of the day. I don't have to I'm not subject to a rush, which is presumably what basically everybody else contends with, based on just the impression I get from talking to people and just various depictions in movies and whatnot. You know, I feel like an alien and I sound like an alien so often because the way I operate is so foreign to how other people do. Like, I'm talking about, yes, I tried to observe the humans' media to try to understand them better. I think that's interesting. It just sounds funny. I don't know. I think it's funny. Maybe some people think it's unsettling to have an alien walking among us. But anyways, so there's an efficiency and there's a peace with that. There's never, oh, what am I going to have for breakfast? Oh, what am I going to get for lunch? Oh, what am I going to get for dinner? Those are there's zero thought about that. I know what I'm eating. I don't think about it. And it's definitely more productive that way, because then the brain is able to focus on other things. Now, we were just addressing yesterday, my brain worries a lot, and we're trying to figure that out. Because I think I could have a potent power, I'm just misusing it. Instead of reinforcing good things, I'm reinforcing negative. So it's very zen in the morning, but needless to say, it's actually probably a little less time, actually. Yeah. So you know how I said, like, the less than 2 hours thing? I mean, it fluctuates a little bit because I don't use an alarm. I still wake up pretty consistently, but I don't use an alarm, so there could be a 15 to 30 minute deviation. Some rare occasions I wake up early. I don't know. It just depends. But anyways, there's probably on average less time in the morning than I get when I come home. So it's probably the same thing, although instead of saying less than 2 hours for the morning, I'll probably say on average it's probably more like no, because at night I want to say it's probably not even an hour and 50 minutes. So instead of saying 2 hours, we'll just say an hour 50. And then in the morning, it's probably about the same, because again, it's tricky to come up with an average, because if I wake up 30 minutes earlier, then for that day, I might have a lot of time in the morning. It all depends, but we'll just go with that, I guess. We'll go with it. I don't know. Morning. So the whole point is, I guess I have just about somewhere in the range of an hour to 2 hours, but never a full 2 hours, before and after a 12-hour shift. And then that's it. So there's not really a lot of processing time. Now, fortunately, I do have some time to think at work, and I that is a luxury. It's a luxury. But it's probably not the most thinking of any job possible, because there are lots of jobs where you are alone, too. And so then you would have even more time to think. So it's not like I'm grateful for what I have. It's a luxury, but I don't have a job where I can just really be in my own space or anything like that. I still work with people and have to converse and things like that. It's not like I can just shut off and be in my own world. So, but yeah, after the course of the whole day, I usually have something to say by the end of it. That's why I think the PM episodes are better than the AM. Usually, but remember, In the beginning of the series, I was thinking the AMs were the special. Because, I don't know, like, I'm a morning person, I was well rested. But, yeah, it's weird. I think it's very weird. So now, what was the point? Oh, yes, it's a packed schedule. And so, when I think about why the episodes may not be up to my liking, that's what comes to mind. What comes to mind is that. And so, sorry, I'm just not, just have to think, you know? I think that was the good thing about these car rides is they did give time to think. And I don't have it anymore, so you'll have to forgive me for the moments of silence. There's that inclination to justify mediocrity. Because why would I even interpret it as that? When we're on this positive thing, I should just be saying, I should be saying loud and clear. The show's great. I've been doing great. I always have something to say. It's amazing. What is the reason to talk so much about mediocrity and try to justify? Why? Why do we do that? See, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's what I'm saying. It does make sense because we want to rationalize our mediocrity because then we don't have that push or that reason to need to change anything or improve. Because, oh, well, that's why that's like that. Although, on the other hand, you could argue observing that and then once you're aware that that's the reason why, you can try to change it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm a little more tired than usual, which doesn't really make sense. Although I didn't have the best night's sleep last night. It was weird. Before I went to bed, I kind of had some odd thoughts, I guess. No, it wasn't odd thought. Why am I saying that? It wasn't odd thoughts. It was, I usually have to do this thing where I have to sleep on my back for like 5 minutes, and then I have to shift over to my stomach, which is what I ultimately end up falling asleep on, and just what I have to do. I don't know why, but I just can't sleep any other way. It always has to be that routine of lying down on the back before eventually shifting over on the stomach after about 5 minutes. So it ends up taking me probably about 10 minutes to fall asleep usually, because it's like 5 minutes on the back and then 5 minutes on the stomach, and then I fall asleep. So last night, I think I accidentally fell asleep on my back, and I woke up and just was not feeling right. Like something just felt so off, and so I don't know. That just always seems to happen with me, and it's really weird and it's really annoying, but when I fall asleep on my back, it just doesn't work. I always end up waking up and being kind of stressed out or something like that. I don't know if there's a reason for that, but it's also, yeah, it's just weird. It's really weird. And then so I woke up, and then I realized what had happened, and I went on my stomach, but it's kind of too late at that point, and I have a feeling it may have messed up my sleep in a way. I'm not certain, but I haven't looked at the chart yet, so I don't really know. But I know the deep sleep was way too low last night. Like I don't know why. I'm not too thrilled about that, especially because the night before was really good. I had a lot of deep sleep, and I was very happy for that, but then now it's just not. Then the very next day, now it's back to being terrible. Well, it's not only bad, my deep has actually been really good for a long time. So I was just wondering if the watch just didn't track it properly, but now with how tired I feel, I'm wondering if I still just didn't get that much deep. But it's a weird situation, you know, because I was trying hard with that, and just yesterday I had such a good deep sleep amount, but then at least tonight the REM was really high. Because usually I struggle with REM. Or at first I thought it was the other way around, but like at first I thought I struggled with deep, but then my deep was really good for a long time except for yesterday. So we'll just see, we'll just keep testing, but I don't understand why the deep would have been off, because I didn't do anything differently last night except for that thing that happened, which is what I'm ultimately attributing it to. It's ultimately what I am attributing. Because nothing else happened out of the ordinary, so I don't know why my deep would have tanked like that. I've been getting such good deep. But luckily, we're almost done driving. And we're actually less on time than I thought we would be. I think I drove pretty easy today, though. That could be why. I wasn't pushing it ever at all, and Yeah, I just don't know. Like, it doesn't. No, I guess we're making okay time. But yeah, I think the work. I think it's draining me. I think having weekends where you don't really end up doing much, or you just have people arguing with you, is draining. I don't get to go home and just have a good time. It's just not like that. There's a lot of... So I think it's been draining, but we have to try to transmute that vibe. We have to try to transmute that vibe. But yeah, it's one of those things where I was working and I wanted more and more and more hours. And now I'm working more than I ever thought I even ever would, but I'm just doing it and I'm getting away with it. So I'm just doing it. Like, it's hard for me to not. But we're at a limit. I mean, it's not... It's weird. It's weird, It's not... Is it even a good thing? You know what I mean? Because you get to a point where some overtime was good. When I was working 50 hours, I think that was a pretty solid amount. But then at this point, now that we're up to 60, it's kind of just getting crazy. And I want to be able to handle it, but it's a little bit difficult too. And I guess I'm using work as a positive outlet because I don't know what else to do with myself at the moment, and I'm just very concerned about money. So it ends up working out well. Because I don't know. I don't really know what else I should be doing, or... It's hard. It's hard for me to have vision right now. Because I'm just bombarded with a lot. But, see, like, that's the same thing. It's like, I get it, and I get that it's human, and we look for ways to feel comfortable and content with our present situation, but I don't know why I should do what I'm doing, which is rationalizing the mediocrity. I need to just be better. I need to be thinking about higher things and superior things. I think that's really important. And that was my whole point with the whole justification of mediocrity thing, is it's just this thing that we do, but I shouldn't do that. Like, it doesn't really matter if to a lot of people they can't handle the 12-hour. Like, I need to. These are the stakes that I'm at, and this is where I want to be. So this is, and yeah, I mean, it's impressive to other people, but it doesn't matter. It's that whole idea of it not being good to compare yourself to others. It really makes sense. It's never a productive thing to do. Well, maybe it's not never a productive thing to do. I think when you use it to try to better yourself in a small scale, it can be good. Sometimes it might provide a competitive push where you may not have had a competitive push, and then that allows you to be better than you would have been if you hadn't have done so. So there's definitely an argument to be made there. There's definitely an argument to be made. But I'm talking about this large scale comparison to other people. People who you don't know, never will know. You can always find someone worse than you. You can always find someone better than you. It's kind of just this senseless, aimless game that ends up ruining self-esteem in a lot of ways. It's just the nature of what it is. I don't know. So I think it's what a lot of people deal with. I do. But in application of what I was talking about, it's a justification of mediocrity, and I just shouldn't do it. If I'm doing great, I mean, I'm doing it. I'm doing the show. The episodes are not bad. They're good. The episodes are good. That is really how we need to be thinking at this point. It's how we need to be thinking. We need to be understanding that there's no limit. There's no reason to think that way. And that I have to be the best person I was meant to be. It's great that I'm better than some other people, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter how I am compared to other people. Because those other people aren't me. And it's just that whole cycle that we've, I think, talked about multiple times on the show. And I'm sorry, I'm just getting a little bit ticked off because I'm going to end up parking in a different place than I usually park because I'm feeling a little bit concerned because there's a truck here that isn't usually here. And so it threw me off, but I think we'll be okay. But I didn't really park how I wanted to, and it threw off my whole routine, so we're gonna end up being a little bit off from our usual. But I'm being safe about it because I see there's this truck here, and I have a feeling they're going to, if I park where I usually park, it's going to block them. So, it's happened before. Well, it hasn't ever actually happened before, but it's materialized before where I end up, somebody will tell me, oh, move your car or whatever. The problem is I didn't really park how I wanted to, and I pulled way far into this thing, into the space. I didn't need to pull this far in, so I'm a little bit concerned that I won't. I mean, I'll be able, I think I'll definitely be able to get out, but it's just silly, and it's still not as good as my usual space, but I don't know. It's very, with this giant truck here, I can't do anything about that, Just got to go with the flow. It's what it is, guys. It is what it is. Let me just get my stuff ready. Our usual routine, putting up the sun reflectors, which I still really want to get better ones for my car. like a specific one. These are just 2 little cheap ones. And then once I do that, I'll have these 2 cheap ones. I can actually use them for the side windows. And then so I'll really be dealing with a lot of power at that point. But for now, we're just stuck with these 2 kind of cheap ones. And yeah. But other than my parking space being annoyingly different, what else is new? I mean, it's just nothing else too bad is going on. I can't complain. It's a good day. You have to have positive reactions to things, of course. We're trying to do that. I don't know how successful we'll be, but it's hard when you know that that is apparently the truth, and that you have to be accountable for the energy you put out. Just the way life is. I don't know. But anyways, it's been schla, and now it's time to buy schla. So, see you schla.